I say that every single martial art, no matter if it's Taekwondo, Karate, Aikido, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, any art, any system, it's all subjective on what the teacher, the master, the Sifu, what they consider as proficient. They determine whether or not you've met the standards to get a black belt. They determine whether or not you are, certified or in their eyes capable of teaching and of instructing, of getting to a certain level. So, with my view of the martial arts, I view it to be a higher standard. The way that I view martial arts is that in order for somebody to claim themselves to be a martial artist, I would compare that to somebody claiming themselves to be a doctor or a lawyer or any of these professions that take a lot of years to get to a high level, like a PhD, like a professor, a psychologist, a therapist, psychotherapist. These types of professions take many years of study in order to get to that level. Just like if you say that you're a professional basketball player, you play for the NBA, that shows that you got to a very high level of training. You didn't just get there in 1 or 2 days of bouncing a basketball. It took many years of dedication to get to that level in any of these professional sports such as the NFL and things of that nature. But even once you get into that level, even when you get into the NBA, doesn't mean that you're necessarily that proficient. As you see in the NBA, there are players that have gone way beyond just the minimal requirements to make it to the league. So you got maybe people that are sitting in the bench that don't even get any playing time, and then you got people like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant who are definitely at a much higher level than just merely making it to the NBA. And this goes with every profession. Same thing with being a professor. You may have gotten the degree as a professor, but that doesn't mean that you're at a high level of knowledge or understanding or of intelligence. That goes the same with doctors. Just because somebody's a doctor does not mean that he's good at what he does. But to get to that minimal level of requirement, that in itself does take a lot of effort. But to go beyond that, now that, that's going to take more effort, more discipline, more training, more motivation. So this video is intended to establish in my eyes what I see as the minimal requirements to be a Sifu for any martial art. This is something where my subjective view of, to me, what martial art should represent, what a master, what a Sifu, what a teacher should represent. This is an indication to me of somebody who has gotten himself to a certain level of proficiency and then is therefore capable of helping others to get to a higher level of proficiency as well. I see that people that have not gotten to this level of training have, rather than spending time to get other people to a higher level, they should rather direct those energies into taking themselves to a higher level until they become more proficient. So, my view of martial art is the integration of the body, mind, and spirit. This is an underlying theme in all my videos. Is the integration of those three aspects and the balance of all three aspects. In the link of the description section of this video will lead you towards what my goals are for people out there, to see if they could obtain these goals, if they could reach these goals, and these goals would establish what I would see as a Sifu, in my eyes. So the physical component would consist of being physically fit. I do not see that somebody should claim themselves to be a martial artist if they are not physically fit. To me, it's like saying like somebody that watches football is a football player. No, that's not the case. He may enjoy watching football. He may know a lot about football and about the rules and the plays and everything, but he is not a player. I see a martial artist should be also a practitioner that is fit, that represents health and fitness. And to me, health and fitness, I have a list of exercises that I see should be accomplished. And the exercises are well-rounded for overall general fitness. There's the sit-ups, the squats, the push-ups, the pull-ups, the handstand push-ups. There's jump roping. There's a side kick hold, front kick hold. There's the sit and reach. There's the middle split. It shows very well general fitness of overall strength, flexibility, some endurance. And I see that everybody should strive for a balance in their physical fitness training. And I see that the exercises that I have selected to evaluate individuals are very well-balanced exercises. So in order for me to see somebody to be a Sifu, consider somebody to be a Sifu, the person would have to have a balanced fitness and be able to accomplish all those exercises. And somebody could be very strong, but if he's inflexible, if he can't even come close to doing the split, then I wouldn't consider him a martial artist. He would have to take his flexibility to a higher level in order to balance it out. And just like in law enforcement, there's a physical fitness test that must be completed in order to gain employment. No matter how intelligent or spiritual the individual is, if he cannot complete that physical fitness test, then he cannot be a police officer. And I see that a martial artist, standards should be high like that, have high expectations. But I've taken the physical fitness test to a much higher level than they do to at law enforcement. It's much more comprehensive, it's more challenging, and it encompasses a balance of all physical fitness. So I see that Sifus, in order for me to consider somebody Sifu, they would have to complete those general minimal fitness requirements to be a Sifu. Do a certain amount of repetitions of each exercise, and the goals are based on age and gender. Because there is an understanding that once you get older, your physical abilities may not be as proficient than maybe 10 years ago when you were younger. And the numbers of repetitions expected will reflect that. So I see that the physical fitness requirements is the minimal, and then you could go beyond that. Once you get to the Sifu level, you could go beyond that and do more demonstrations of strength that require much more ability, such as full plank push-ups and the human flag and 90-degree push-ups, two-finger push-ups, things of that nature, flips and stuff like that. Alright, so that would satisfy the first component, which is the physical component. The mental component, to me, I would consider the technique, the understanding of the technique. And the understanding of the technique in regards to combat technique. So it could be combat training in any style, any art. It could be capoeira, it could be taekwondo, it could be boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, judo, whatever style of fighting. It's the understanding of the techniques of that style and the proper application of the techniques with efficiency, speed, power, being able to hit a heavy bag or at a good and decent force based on your weight, being able to have speed in your techniques. So this component is something that I only teach face to face, but for others that are not able to train with me face to face, they could learn this from other teachers of styles. They can learn online, they can learn from books, they can learn from other people face to face to learn the techniques. And the technique portion is basically something that is gauged through me seeing them perform the techniques through shadow boxing or the practicing of forms or hitting bags, hitting heavy bags, hitting focus mitts. I could gauge and see and evaluate a person's technique based on that. And then also it comes through sparring, safe sparring with the individual to see their level of achievement in the execution of techniques. Alright. The spiritual component consists of the understanding of the philosophy of the martial art, and this could come from any type of way of thinking. It could come from Jesus, Buddha, Lao-Tzu, Osho, Muhammad, or just the spirituality, the spirit. No matter what religion a person practices, what philosophy a person studies, it should aim towards the ultimate reality. It should aim towards truth. So a person could be reading a lot of Socrates, a lot of Plato, a lot of Nietzsche, a lot of Western philosophy in general. It doesn't matter what they read, but what matters is the understanding. Alright, and this will be reflected through reading mainly and watching educational videos, but mainly it's about the spirit, developing the spirit, developing that inner peace from within. So a person that is very, may practice a certain religion and understands the religion very well, maybe have read the Bible over and over again and really practices that way of life where they're guiding towards peace, love, and compassion, and just basically the good, then that is the representation of the spirit. And that is what I would say would complete the martial artist, is the integration of the physical fitness, the technique, execution, and the spiritual, which is pretty much the very important aspect that can't be neglected, but is neglected by many. But I'd say that the integration of all those three would indicate to me what a Sifu should represent. And the minimal requirements is listed on that website. And I'd say that people that have not done any spiritual training, I'd say the listed books that I have and the movies in that section, the spiritual training section, indicates what I would view as a minimal requirement for Sifus, which is approximately 50 books that are read, have to be read in related to Eastern philosophy and psychology and the understanding of the mind, of your inner expression. So those are the minimum requirements. And then as you take yourself to a higher level through the days of training, you will read more and more books. You will get more and more proficient in your technique of efficiency, and you will become more and more fit, and you'll be able to take your fitness to a higher and higher level. And physically, mentally, and spiritually, you'll go beyond just the mere minimal requirements to be a Sifu. You would be then at a much higher level that really no title can ever be able to label you to be anything specific. I'd say that level you'd be considered like a mystic.